Hey guys, in this video I'm going to quickly go over how we can set up Maya projects and how we can turn those in so we don't incur any grading penalties for failing to meet turn in policy. Alright, so I got a quick little outline here that I'll go through, and this will be linked with the video. The first thing we're going to go over is creating a nice project, a nice folder structure. So I'm going to bring up my documents folder or my user profile on my own computer. Hopefully what you'll do is you'll navigate to your appropriate drive that you'll be saving things in. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a new folder, and this is going to be the folder we use for all of SGD. I'm just going from the very beginning like you haven't set up any folders. So I'll create a folder called SGD in general, and then in that I'll create a new folder called SGD 114. And in 114 I'll create chapter 01, and then I'll just copy that over and over again and just set up a nice folder hierarchy. So notice how I'm kind of hitting all of my chapters here. You can make chapters as you go, where you can go ahead and do what I'm doing and just make a few. And now we have a very logical folder progression. In my user profile, I see SGD. There's my SGD 114, and there's every single chapter thereabouts that I'll need. So when I go back and see what I did for chapter 2, it's right there for me. So what we're going to do next is see how we can set up projects inside of Maya. So I have Maya set up here, and I'm going to create a few objects in here just to have something in my scene. I'll create a torus, the donut. I've already made a cylinder. Let's just make a sphere. All right, so I got 3 basic primitives in here just to give my scene something. All right, but I've already made a mistake. Before I even begin working, so I'm going to open up a brand new scene. Before I even make any kind of change or do anything in my Maya, I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Project Window. We can see Project Window right there. So I'll open up Project Window, and right here it shows you what current project you're working in right here. All right, so we're going to make a brand new project before we even get started. So we're going to call this project Chapter 01 Assignment, and we're going to give it a location. So I'm going to navigate to my user drive, wherever your SGD folder that we made is set up, and I'm going to select the chapter in which I'm going to make my project. So I select chapter 1 because this is assignment 1 chapter. So I'll just select that folder, and then I'll hit select, and we can see that I'm going to have chapter 01 assignment project folder made in my chapter 1 folder. And then from here we can give custom names to various folders we have. For instance, source images is where you will keep your textures for future projects that you will use with the hypershade and with materials. So source images is kind of confusing, so you can give it the name of textures. It'll still keep what Maya considers source images stored here. You've just given it your own custom name. You can even make brand new folders for, let's say you have, I don't know, documents that I may have you do a write-up on. So we'll add a documents, and then you give it of the data type documents, so you kind of remember what this folder's for, and then you actually have to name it. So I'll just type documents again, and then I'll add a new one. Maybe this one's for ref images, and then I have to give it its proper name, reference images. Sometimes I'll ask you to download images off the internet that you'll be modeling from. So that's what that folder could be for. All right, so once you're done with all the changes, such as naming it, giving it a location, setting up any kind of folder name that you may want, and adding any kind of new folder, we're going to press accept. All right, so it doesn't look like it's done anything, but if I navigate back to my SGD folder, there's SGD 114, and then there's chapter 1. We can see now I have a new folder called Chapter 01 Assignment, and I have all of these folders that I've just made, like so. And what's interesting is whenever we gave source images a new name of textures, it made two folders. Maya's still going to expect you to put all of the textures that it's going to use in its hypershade and link to in source images. But for textures here, with this new textures folder you made, you could put your reference textures that you download from the internet here. So it could be kind of like your library of textures, and source images will be the actual textures that Maya will use. So that'll be the difference between those two folders there. All right, so we have our project set up. Just to make sure we know what project we're using, you can always go to File and go to Project window. It'll give you the name of the project you're working with, and it'll give you its location, like so. It'll also show what extra little folders you've made. So it kind of gives you your current folder, project folders. So let's talk about saving our scenes real quickly. Now that I got my project set up, I'm going to create a few different primitives here. All right, so this is my very first edits to the scene. So the very first save that we make, and we're going to make sure that we're working in the right project by going to Set Project. And it looks like Chapter 01 assignment is where it goes to. So I'm going to select my Chapter 01 assignment just to make sure and set my project to that. It could be a situation where Maya's not uh, working in the right project. So before you start saving stuff, make sure you're in the right project. So this might be my first save. What I'll do is I'll go to File, Save As, and you can see since my project is already set up correctly in Chapter 1 assignment, it's already going to save all my scenes to the Scenes folder and my project folder here. So we can see my class, the chapter, the project name that I gave it, and the project scenes folder. And the very first save, we'll call this shapes. Just give it a regular name. So if you were making a robot, whatever logical kind of naming convention you want to use. So let's make some edits. Let's duplicate this. So we've made a change to my scene. Instead of just hitting save scene, never just hit save scene unless you want to make a quick 2-second save. Always use increment and save. What that does, and we'll go to open scene, is it creates a brand new save with a nice index number right here. And as you go through your project, you'll start incrementing a bunch of different saves for your project. This is useful because it allows you to always have a checkpoint for your project, for your assignment. It's basically like having a checkpoint system in a game. So if you die, meaning you don't like the changes you've made to your project, or if your file gets corrupt, you can always go back to the last checkpoint you had set up. So I'll show you a few incremental saves. So I've duplicated that cube, increment and save. I've duplicated these. Maya requires you to make changes before you can save. So I just keep hitting increment and save. Increment and save. So what we see, let's go to open scene. What we see is our very first save that we give the name for, and then every save after that, it increments with a new number. So we'll have a collection of saves for our project, and our files, we don't have to worry about our files becoming corrupt and losing them because we'll have a checkpoint to go back to the last time we saved. But if this is your final product, like if the assignment was to make 4 cubes or 6 cubes and 4 cones, I've nailed it. So I'm ready to submit my project. So the last save you make, we'll go to Save Scene As, and we'll call this Shapes Final. The final suffix that we put on there will indicate that this is what you want me to grade. This scene is the scene that you want me to grade. Otherwise, I'll try to do my best to guess which one you want me to grade. So if we go to open scene now, we can see that I have my first shapes save, then all my incremental saves, and then my very last final save. So I've made my final save. Now I actually need to turn in my assignment. So with my last save made, I'm going to navigate to my SGD folder, to the class, to the chapter I was working in, and I'll navigate to my project. But I've gone one too far. What we want to do, this is my project that Maya created for me and that I named earlier. What I want to do is I want to select the project folder that contains all of these folders. Don't just select your scenes folder, okay? We're going to select the whole project folder. And every single image, every single document that you make, every file associated with your assignment will be stored within this project folder that we have called Chapter 01 Assignment. So after you're ready, after you're sure all your files are in this project folder, we'll right click it and you can send to a compressed zipped folder. This zipped folder will be what you upload to Moodle, and is what I will download and grade. Moodle will not allow you to upload just loose folders, unzipped folders like so. So we need to zip it first so you can actually submit it into Moodle. And so after you've zipped up your folder, you're going to navigate to Moodle, and this is SGD 114 Modeling 1. You're going to navigate to the chapter, let's say right here, and you're going to navigate to the chapter in which you're going to turn it into. So this will be the submission folder or the submission window. And at the very bottom, it'll have submit for grading, and it'll bring up this little folder down here. You can drag and drop, or you can click that empty box. You can choose file, and I'll navigate to my SGD folder 114 chapter 01, and I will select the assignment to turn in. Go to open. You can give it a name, but I usually will just leave that blank. Upload the file. Give it a second. And then after it's done uploading, you should see the file right there. And make sure you go to Save Changes. And then from there, you should see the submission status to Submitted for Grading. And you can leave comments for the assignment, like, had fun, you're the best teacher in person I know. Okay, that is just a pretty standard comment I received. So we'll save that, and from there you should be good to go. You can always come back and go to Edit Submission to right click. You can delete it and resubmit a brand new iteration of your assignment. If you woke up one morning and you're like, oh, I forgot to name it a certain way, you can always delete it and re-upload. All right. So those will be the standard procedures for saving. But wait a minute. I made a fatal mistake. Guess what I forgot to do? I forgot to name my zipped folder. So I should have done last name underscore first name underscore chapter 01 underscore the class SGD 114. All right. That is the correct naming convention we should have used. If you would have done it the way that I showed you before, I just was showing you how easy it is just to zip it up and forget to name it. If you would have done it the way before, you would have had points counted off, and eventually I might have not have known whose assignment it was. So with the correct name, you saw that I deleted my last one, so now I need to come in and resubmit with the correct naming convention. And then just re-upload the file. So after the file is uploaded and you've resubmitted your correctly named assignment, just save changes. And you can see that file submissions are Rotor Patrick Chapter 1 SGD 114. And now you have correctly turned in your assignment. Thanks for watching.